Hey everyone, I hope this lasts. I'm running errands and my husband went into the sportsman's store and I was like, oh cool, I'm going to do a video while he's in there. So sorry if the filming and all that's kind of weird. But I had a request to do a tapping. This is separate from the 21 days to receiving good on health concerns. And especially if you think about it, like if you hear you have family history, like there's cancer in your family, or if there's Alzheimer's, which is in my family, or heart disease or stroke or all that. I'm so glad this person brought this up because I have so much to say about it, but I'm going to try and keep it limited. They're finding out now that DNA scientists are finding out DNA is not fixed. It's not that we can change our cells. Cell biologists are finding this too, that our cells have the ability to change. Just like we have neuroplasticity in our brains, we can change the brains, we can change all the cells in our bodies. And this goes to the thing that I did, the 60 days break free, which I'm going to start up again in January. But here's the idea: about every 60 days, our cells change, and give or take a few days. And what happens is the more you think a thought, the more you flood your cells with those neurotransmitters, neurochemicals that are created by that emotion. And the more you think those thoughts and that emotion is created, the more those embed in the cells. And then what's so curious is when those cells divide, the new cells have more of a tendency towards the thoughts you've been thinking than the cells they divided from. So this is often why when we're tapping, sometimes it's like, oh my God, I've been tapping on this forever and it doesn't change. But to me, the key is to pick something that you're concerned about. This is what I would recommend. And you tap on it every day for 60 days, if not a little more. And because what you're doing, and I think around the 40 to 45 day mark, maybe even sooner, you're just going to start to notice some real shifts in your thinking, which is huge. So I want to say the thing about health. So my father passed away of Alzheimer's. My mother passed away of alcoholism. It's funny, not for 1 minute do I think that I'm going to die of alcoholism, because I had an eating disorder and I was like, oh, I'd much rather eat a cake than have a drink. If I was going to go, that's the way I was going to go. And I say that not to, it is funny to me now, but when you're in the throes of it, it's not funny at all. But the other thing is, with the Alzheimer's, I even had family members say, we're going to go the way Dad did. And I'm like, why would you even consider that? Because our mom had nothing. Even though she died of alcoholism, she didn't have the Alzheimer's. On top of which, I truly believe if you work to release the stress and the fear around the belief that you will contract this no matter what your family history is, and in fact, in spite of your family history, Marty Murphy's personal opinion, this is what cell biologists and neuroscientists and all are saying, is you can in fact change the chemistry in your body and change what's true for you. To me, that's like, what a freaking relief. And the other thing, depending on what you believe, is a power greater than yourself, even if it's just a higher state of being in you. Like, this is where if you sort of think about, well, I'm going to work to surrender this. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to give this to God. And I'm going to tap on, and I'm going to use the word God in this video. So if you don't like that word, change the word to whatever you need to. And we're just going to start, because this is such an important topic and I think it's so great. So just remember, if you could change, you can change the cells by changing your thoughts. And the way you can't stop your thoughts, you cannot stop your thoughts, but you can interrupt them. So what happens before we tap is most of us go into terror. I did this for a freaking year when my husband and I were going through the financial debacle. It's like, I know I shouldn't be thinking these thoughts and I've got to change these thoughts. And it just made it worse. It sucked. It was like doubling down on myself. Like I thought I was screwed before. Like now I'm double screwed because I can't stop the thoughts. But just remind yourself, You cannot stop your thoughts. That's true, but you can interrupt them. And the more you interrupt them, the more on their own they're going to change. So, just start on the karate chop. Even though I am so terrified, I'm terrified of diagnosis. I'm terrified I'm going to end up like my family members. You know, they say if it happens to them, it's going to happen to me. I choose to acknowledge that I have this fear. Even though I am so afraid, I don't want to get these tests. What if they tell me what I'm terrified to hear? I choose to accept my feelings now. Even though I am terrified, I'm terrified my DNA has set my fate. But what if that does not have to be true for me at all? I like the idea of that a lot. I am so terrified. I have the DNA they do. And look what happened to them. But now they're coming out and saying DNA is not set. It can change. And so can our cells. That's great news. Yeah, but then I get terrified because I have such dreadful thoughts. But what if I can remind myself, I don't have to stop my thoughts. In fact, I can't. What if I just need to interrupt them? I can interrupt my thoughts. If I think I have to stop these thoughts, oh my God, I'm screwed. Hey, Emily. Hey, Annie. But the beauty is I don't have to stop these thoughts. I just need to interrupt them. And I don't need to go around all day, oh God, I'm having a negative thought, and monitor myself just when I catch them. And I'm not going to catch them all the time in the beginning. And the more I interrupt these thoughts, the more I change what's possible for me. What a relief. I've been so afraid of my family history. So afraid of DNA. So afraid of my own health history. And that's okay too. God knows I have a ton of evidence to prove this is true. But what if I can just interrupt my thoughts and start to notice a difference a little more each and every day? And then I'll start to notice the shifts. And when I see the shifts that could come 30 days in, 45 days in, 60 days in, I will start to have evidence that I'm actually changing my cells and I'm changing my brain each time I interrupt my thoughts. And I like that idea a lot. And then just take a breath. And I realized like halfway through, I was like, oh, I didn't do the God thing, but we can do that some other time. The surrendering thing. So just try, this is actually really a good thing to do first. And then I think tomorrow I'll do a video, and maybe later tonight, we'll see, about like how to like consider surrendering that. But the idea is you can't change your thoughts, but you can interrupt them. The problem is we get terrified of our thoughts because, oh my God, law of attraction, thoughts are things, and I can't stop thinking those thoughts and I'm screwing myself. I mean, I spent a freaking year in bed churning doing that. So it's such a relief to go, you can't stop your thoughts, but you can't interrupt them. And the more you interrupt them, over time, you're going to change those cells and you're going to change what's possible for you. So Annie, so happy you're here. Aura, happy you're here. Emily, happy you're here. Have a great rest of your night, morning, day, wherever you are. That's it. Bye for now.